So we have the owner, Denise Einkauf, and the company is Waggin Tails Pet Ranch. And we're going to start with Denise right now. Let's welcome Denise Einkauf. Denise, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So there you are, right now. And one of the things I say on the show all the times is dogs and cats love this show, especially realtors too, but the tails are wagging, just like the name of your company, during this show. So thanks for being with us.
Well, good. I'm glad they're going to enjoy it.
So first of all, many people already know about your company, Waggin Tails Pet Ranch, but let's tell them about it as you are the owner.
Okay. One of my favorite subjects. So we actually are now Waggin Tails. We have the Waggin Tails Pet Ranch, which is in Fulshire. Used to be a little bit outside of Katy, but now everybody seems to know where Fulshire is, the up and coming, especially for real estate. Then we actually just purchased in 2020, about 6 weeks before the pandemic, so perfect timing, Waggin Tails Animal Inn, which is in Richmond off Clodine Road. So now we have 2 locations.
So you know a lot about pets, especially dogs, I imagine.
Yeah, more dogs so than anything else.
So let's tell people, as far as let's lay out the menu of services that you have there, because I know you can board dogs and cats and even other, as you mentioned, a handheld animal. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yep.
Pocket pets. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Handheld. What am I saying? Pocket pets. So in the meantime, but for let's take dog owners out here. What are the things that you can provide for the dog owner in the Fulshire area, and where else?
Richmond.
There you
go. So we are actually one of the few pet resorts or pet ranches who are all inclusive. So we do boarding, grooming, daycare, and training. Daycare, I'll tell you, is one of the things that has picked up the most, especially since 2020, and so many people got COVID puppies, COVID dogs, went back to work, needed somewhere to keep them. So we do. We also have several trainers on staff at both locations. We do group training, obedience training, private lessons, and then we also do grooming. So we have 2 groomers on staff as well.
That is a giant menu.
It's a lot.
Training,
which has also gotten very popular from all our COVID puppies to get in shape now and get trained to be a little more obedient.
So give us an idea, first of all, as far as the boarding. There are many people that need boarding services. In fact, there's some people that are afraid to use boarding services because their pets are always with them, but then there's that event they have to go to out of town or something. So let's tell someone that might be apprehensive about boarding their dog in this case.
Okay.
And what do the dogs do when they're being boarded by your organization?
So we are a little bit different in that we're an all-inclusive boarding place. So we charge by the night, not by the day. We don't have add-ons. Our price is our price. And what that includes for us, which we find very important, is we do feeding twice a day or however the clients want. We go in and out 3 to 4 times every day. And we also provide group play, which is basically if your dog is social with other dogs, we try to get them out and in play groups, which is like them going to camp. The ranch is on 15 acres, so we have 4.5 fenced. Just for 22 play yards, it includes a in-ground swimming pool as well as a filtered pond. So we even have swim time also included. So we try to figure out what your dog enjoys, get them out so that they're really not thinking about the owners being gone. That's our job, is to be the home away from home and have a good time. If we notice somebody's not doing so well or nervous, we work with the trainers to work on that as well. We have luxury suites where they can be a little more closed in and fancy with TVs and fans and cots and the whole thing. Or we have our bunkhouse runs that's more social. So we have 150 spots just at the ranch alone. So
wait a minute, 150 spots
just at the ranch in Fulshire and 105 at the inn in Richmond. So we have a staff of 49, so we have a lot of employees. All of them trained in CPR, first aid for pets. Several on staff trained for lifeguarding is what we call. There's always somebody out watching the groups, watching the dogs. If your dog isn't social and doesn't, would rather be with humans, then we provide that too. We'll do swim time, play ball, anything that we find they enjoy just to keep them from being nervous about boarding. We keep an average of about 200 to 215 dogs a night at the ranch and an average of about 120 at the inn.
And is this on any given night?
No, usually holidays and weekends. I was just going to say,
yeah. I'm already going to put the word out. If whatever next holiday is coming up, get your reservation in early because that is probably the busiest time, right?
It is. So spring break, we're already almost full. The inn still has some openings, but you do have to plan ahead a little bit when we get to summer and towards any holiday. We book up a couple months in advance.
And there's also some documentation that we want to bring that forth, so someone has to check with their vet and send over the papers, right?
Yes.
Some of those
and
details.
honestly, I would tell anybody that's nervous about boarding, especially now with, a lot has changed in the animal industry since COVID in 2020. A lot of new pet owners, a lot of dogs were adopted, or we had a lot of fosters that were adopted during 2020. Is if you want to figure out what's best for you and your pet for boarding or any service, go tour the place. I like somebody to come by anytime. We do tours from 9 or 10 in the morning till we close at 6. Saturday, we're open 8 to 3. Come by and we'll show you around. We don't schedule our tours where it's a certain time, every day.
Drop by.
We just want you to stop by and take a look, meet the people that you're going to be leaving your dog. It is like family, which is why we also want all the documentation. We need to know, where you're going to be, how we can get a hold of you, have they been vaccinated. But I would say stop by, tour, make sure you like what you see before you stay. Ask questions. Come with a list of questions. We're happy to answer it.
In fact, that's what I did. I took the tour, and one of the things I was very impressed with are the people that work there. They were very nice, answered all the questions, walked me around, and of course, your dog, I guess, is the mascot. He was sitting there right at the front.
I have 2 office staff.
Yeah,
they are part of the office staff.
Right.
The 2 dogs up front. So
what's his name, by the way?
My bulldog is Brody, and
that's
he'll
the
be
one
who
I
you
met.
remember. He's a big 65-pound English bulldog, and then I have a little small one named Wrigley, who's lived there. This is his 10th year up there.
Okay,
So.
a word other than dogs. Everybody loves dogs. What about the cats? Let's
So
talk
we
about that.
do cat boarding as well. Usually people will leave their cats with us if it's going to be longer than just a few nights and maybe not want to have them in the house for a long period of time. So we have a fantastic cat facilities at both locations. And we also do have some people that leave for a longer stay that need what we call pocket pets. That would be your birds, your ferrets, your hamsters, your guinea pigs. We've even boarded a bearded dragon, goldfish, or we pretty much work as long as they come in their own enclosure and you bring what we need for them. We're happy to do it. We just only keep so many of those every holiday so that we're not, because we have a special place, we keep them separate. We've even boarded a potbelly pig, but that one actually was part of the family and boarded with their dogs and was house trained in a luxury suite, which my staff loved. And then I've even boarded a pet duck before named Petey that would follow us out to the pond and then come back in.
So never a dull moment at
Never.
Waggin Tail's Pet Ranch. It
Never a
sounds
dull
like fun.
moment.
I want your job, huh?
It is an awesome job, which that is why my staff, I think,
They're
shows
happy.
how happy they are working there. Yeah, all of them has a dog passion.
What a great job to be working in that sort of environment. Give us an idea of you could be doing many things, but here you are. You've been doing this over about 20 years or so.
Yep, almost 20 years.
What was the inspiration to start this to begin with?
So I actually went to A&M. Whoop. Have get my fan.
Get some A&M fans
It's an
here.
A&M, some other Aggies. So I graduated with biomedical science and animal science from A&M. Always wanted to do something. My 2 favorite subjects, science and animals. I actually taught high school chemistry and physics for about 9 years. Loved the teaching. Taught it even at Katy High School for some of those. And then I just had an amazing opportunity. Because I was also a registered vet tech, working at vet clinics during the summer, which is what I've done all the way since college. Realized from a lot of my vet friends that there just wasn't a lot of boarding in Katy when I opened in 2000. We started construction in 2004 and opened in 2005. Fulshear was 762 people in the middle of nowhere.
Now, I don't know the numbers now, but it's big.
It's big and keeps growing. But our vision was to have something besides just leash walking or kept in a cage. And we had some friends that had opened a dog ranch kind of based on like what we wanted to do in Austin area. So we just got lucky with one of our friends. That's what his dad did, was back companies. And we were able to pay him off in 2 years after opening, and we just kept on expanding from there.
So there's an example, too, as it relates to real estate. One of the many ways that there you are, you bought a lot of land, acres, and then that's the kind of real estate you need to do what you're doing. You need room and all that, and
Right.
Here you have all the happy campers at the ranch.
All the happy campers, that's right. We love it. We live on property, so my kids were raised, with the business right there. It was a great. I love it. And my other location, I always said if I was going to expand, I like having staff on property. So I have 2 staff members that live in the apartments above the inn location. So
We know people, I have 2 dogs. Many people have multiple animals, but in the case of dogs, we know that every dog has a different personality. But you get to see that in play every
Yes.
day, where you're having like, what, 100 and some dogs per,
yeah,
per
our-
location,
per
right?
location, right? Our
So they all have a different personality.
all
You see
have a
it.
different
Isn't that
one.
amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, and what's funny is their personality around their owners. This is like I always joke about it's running recess for a bunch of toddlers.
It's like, hey, the parents are gone.
The parents are gone now. So we see something usually totally different. It's not unusual to
Right.
have, them act very different when their owners are there versus not, like they do with
And the
little
owner's
kids.
like, no, my dog didn't. Really? They did that when I was gone?
Yeah, so we do report cards for everybody, just like a school. Let them know how they did the first time. We do a lot of information because sometimes you just don't know how your dog's going to act. And it's not any owner's fault. They just haven't ever had them around other dogs like we do. So that's why we have a very well-trained staff to watch for signs of.
Is there anything
stress.
I didn't ask you that I should have asked you that's really important? And Larry, I put that out to you, our president, Larry Warren, who brought Denise here. What did I not ask that we should before we close this segment? We covered some good stuff.
We did cover some
We
good
could talk
stuff.
for hours. though. We know that.
Well, I know. And when you guys asked me to come prepared, I was like, you don't have to worry. My 2 favorite things, my business and dogs.
talking,
Whatever
yeah,
you want
there
me to talk about, I can do that. Really, to go to both locations if you want to take a tour, we are always happy to answer questions. If you have dogs questions about, your dog, training classes are starting every 6 weeks or so.
What about the personal training? You have that too, right?
We do. We have
So
in-home
how does that
personal.
work? That's
so
important.
Our most popular right now is private training during day camp. So you can drop off. We also have groomers at both locations, so we can do full hair spa days, and then we'll do day camp for half a days on those.
So for the private training, they drop the dog off during the
Yes,
day,
they can
and
drop
your
off from
people
7.
work with them.
My people work with them. You will be usually assigned a trainer. They'll figure
Okay.
out specifically what you want worked on, and then they'll spend half an hour to an hour that day
Very
during
nice.
day
I'm
camp
gonna
and pull
tell-
them out at day camp.
I'm going to tell my little guy Elvis he's 15 pounds of trouble. So that might be in his future.
We have a lot in that program right now. It works very well.
So once again, you have the full menu. Let's tell people the website, Denise.
Okay, so it's WagginTailsPetRanch.com or WagginTailsAnimalIn.com. You can always just search Waggin. It's Waggin Tails, and you'll find both locations should pop up. They're in the Fulshire and Richmond area. So
Boarding, grooming, training, daycare, pet accessories. You're covering it all.
I forgot. Yes, we have a boutique too. And right now we're running a special. If you bring your dog in, you buy a toy that's Valentine's, we take a picture. Treats. Yeah, we do. We have it all. We're a one-stop shop.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And we get cookies from the Warrens. We have the best clients ever.
That's right. Larry Warren, our president, he raves. He's been raving for years about the
He
services.
drove we were just talking about it. He drove the 2-lane blacktop to get out in 2008.
Thank you so much, Denise Einkauf. You will be the official boarding facility for the show from now on.
Oh,
we're
I would love
designating
that.
I'm just saying if it's okay with Larry, and I know it is. So thank you for being with us. Once again, the website is
WagginTailsPetRanch.com.
the phone number.
281-533-0500.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you so much.